we have discussed the 10-line soliloquy of Romeo and the 9-line soliloquy of Juliet. You see, what a transformation takes place by the end of the 10 lines and by the end of the 9 lines. Magic of Shakespeare. So we have done only 19 lines from Shakespeare's drama Romeo and Juliet. The original drama runs into 4,766 lines. And in this drama, Romeo speaks 570 lines and Juliet speaks 520 lines. From them we have taken only this just as a sample, just for tasting. At the beginning we have seen the feuding families, how one was at the neck of the other, just at the sight, no reason for fighting. I saw him is enough to fight. We have seen the impetuous Tybalt, the noble, equally impetuous Mercutio, and to some extent Romeo. He became mild because Tybalt was his brother-in-law, and Tybalt did not understand at that moment, and he never understood. Now, this we pause here because this is the portion for the examination. As the drama was just 2 minutes. Early morning, Romeo left with a heavy heart, assuring Juliet that every hour he would be writing letter to her. And in his journey to Mantua, he was also assured by Friar Lawrence that every day he would be writing a letter to him to post him with the latest developments in Verona. As things stand there, Juliet's parents were in a hurry to clear all these situations to arrange a marriage for her. They did know about Juliet's marriage to Romeo, just 3 people knew it: Friar Lawrence, Romeo, and Juliet. They didn't know she was married. So they proposed Count Paris as the prospective groom, decent, noble, rich, all the qualities, and Juliet would have normally loved him had she not found Romeo earlier. Now, the proposal was vehemently opposed by Juliet on 2 grounds. First, he said she was too young to think of marriage, just 13 years. Second, what she told, the death of her dearest cousin Tybalt is still fresh in her memory, and she still sees his face in blood. She cannot love someone else at this stage. But her parents dismissed it summarily. Now, her only hope was Friar Lawrence, who knew all what had happened. She goes to him and appraises him of the developments in the house, and she also tells him that she is prepared to go to her graveyard than marrying Count Paris. Seeing her resolve, Friar Lawrence is suggesting a remedy so unusual. But he told he would give a portion, a drug, which has effect for 42 hours. Once she takes it, she would lie down as if she is dead without any movement for 42 hours. And he advised her to take this portion on the eve of the wedding. Wedding was slated for Thursday, so he asked her to take it on Wednesday evening, and she took it. Lord was very happy because daughter had consented to the marriage. Next morning, Count Paris comes in all paraphernalia to take the would-be bride to the church to get married. As he comes, it is not the would-be bride, it is the dead body of the girl proposed for marriage. Dead body is taken to the church, not for the wedding blessing, but for the burial. A beautiful body has been kept in a casket and buried in the vault that was ancestrally the Capulets. Now, Friar Lawrence wrote a long letter to Paris informing him of all that happened in Verona and also the trick he had played on Juliet, his wife. And he also told that the effect of that portion would be 42 hours. So she would be back to life Friday morning after midnight, anytime after midnight, and asked him to come and take Juliet to Mantua. Unfortunately, Friar Lawrence handed over the letter to his assistant, Friar John, who wanted to go to Mantua with a friend, but he couldn't find a friend, and they were blocked to moving to Mantua because of the plague. In the meantime, Balthasar, the faithful page of Romeo, goes on horseback very fast to Mantua and tells him that Juliet is dead and buried. Suddenly, Romeo loses all his temper. He appears to be mad. He goes to an poor apothecary. Apothecary means a doctor. And he bribes the doctor, giving him gold, and in turn he buys a small bottle of poison that is very powerful, that would kill one who takes it instantly. With that, he comes to Verona in the company of Balthasar, his page. Once they reach the cemetery, he asks Balthasar to stand there, and he goes inside with a spade to open the grave. Opens it and sees the beautiful face of Juliet. He imagines she is more beautiful at death than while alive. And he took her for really dead. He didn't find any meaning in outliving Juliet. And as he was tampering on the tomb to open it, to have the sight of Juliet, because the casket top is covered with the glass, so that we can see the object inside. Count Paris, who was proposed, also came to the cemetery graveyard with the flowers to spread over the tomb of Juliet. He saw Romeo and he knows that Romeo is the enemy of Capulet. He didn't know anything about the marriage. So he sincerely thought Romeo was going to do some damage to the dead body of Juliet. So he challenges Romeo and Romeo advises him not to challenge because he is already with a heavy heart. But the details Count Paris doesn't know and he challenges, they begin to fight and Romeo stabs him to death. And he didn't want to live. Suddenly he takes the bottle of poison from his pocket. He drinks it. Instantly he falls dead. Once Romeo is dead, Friar Lawrence understood that his letter did not reach Mantua, and he also understood that Balthasar might have gone there. So he was afraid once Juliet comes back to life, unless the tomb was opened, she would die of suffocation. So he comes with a pickaxe, opens it. As he opens the tomb, it is the time Juliet is coming back to life. Such a pleasant face. As she sees the friar, the question she asked him, where is Romeo? And the friar told things have gone beyond all our calculation, and he helps her to come out of the tomb, and she sees the dead body of Paris and Romeo. Now, at the gate, the pace and security, they make some noise, they are coming. Friar is frightened that he would be caught, so he wanted to run away. He asked Juliet to go with him, but Juliet didn't go. Friar escaped. Juliet saw the bottle of poison by the side of Romeo near his hand. She takes it. She looks for a few drops of poison in the bottle for her to go with Romeo. There was not even a drop in the bottle. So what she thought, if she kisses the lips of Romeo, at least some drops could be there and that would be sufficient for her death. She kisses him, but there was no poison, and she says, your lips are still warm. Just only he had killed himself. Now, sound is coming. She realizes there is no time for her, and she finds the dagger Romeo used to stab Count Paris. She snatches it from the hand of Romeo and stabs herself with it, stating, this my body is the sheath for you, the cover for the sword. She falls dead on Romeo. The news spreads like wildfire. Almost the entire Verona is at the graveyard. Both Lord Capulet and Lady Capulet, Lord Monday, the prince, noblemen all come, and the prince scores the noble lords, stating, this is your making. This is the price you have to pay for your hatredness for each other. And both of them sincerely regret their mistakes. And Lord Capulet wants to extend the warm hand of friendship to Montaigne, and he tells that they would forget, bury all the hatchets, and Lord Montaigne promises in front of all he would erect a statue of pure gold in honor of Juliet. Same, Lord Capulet tells he would erect another statue in pure gold to the memory of Romeo, and thus then the prince wanted to find out the details. Friar Lawrence told all that happened, and he told, I did all this in the best of intentions to reconcile both of you, that I have been trying for long but failed. But this boy and girl came to me. I took it as a chance to get you both reconciled. But fate was against it. Even today, the tombs of Romeo and Juliet are there. The statues erected by the lords are still there. Romeo and Juliet's love story, the tragic love story is going around.